it's me, Erica. We are down here. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. We are down here to discuss the Married to Medicine reunion, part 1. I'm not sure why it's going to be 3 parts. The first episode for me it started out slow. It started out slow to me, even though they did get a lot covered. I felt like it was very slow, like a slow burn. You know what I'm saying? They kind of ended it with, I'm gonna park in between these 2 cars. There's a lot of people in the morning coming to the park in the morning. So we down here. Yeah, I had a good weekend. My son had a basketball game. So that's where we were this weekend, playing basketball and stuff. So you down here to talk about Married to Medicine, right? Okay, so go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stopped by, and let's get down to business. And we're not gonna be down here long, just for a little while. Everybody comes to the park to, I don't know what they be coming to the park for, to make videos, I guess. It should be back more. I'm all in your face, huh? Let me back up a little bit. Let me back up a little bit. Let's talk about it. She getting her exercise on. She getting her walk. I need to be out there with you, lady. While you looking at me crazy, while you scowling at me, I need to be out there with you. Oh, she's starting to run now, bitch. Uh-oh. She's like, bitch, you better keep up. Okay, anyway, so let's talk about it. So first off, like I said, it started off slow. Let's start off with the fashions. From Anila, I didn't like Anila's dress. I felt like there was too much adornment and too much tulle. It just looked like it was like confusion. It looked like confusion. Heavenly looked really nice. She looked different than she has looked in the past. Remember that one year Heavenly wore that dress? It was like a flower print dress. It looked like she had got it from Rainbow or fucking Forever 21 or some shit. I was like, girl, what is that dress? That was like last year or the year before last. Like, it was too far into her tenure on the show for her to be dressing like that. But anyways, that's none of my business. Jackie, I actually liked Jackie's dress the best. I am a girl who loves a classic style. Jackie can wear that 20 years from now and it will still be fine. You know what I'm saying? She could have worn it 20 years ago and it still would have been fine. I love a classic dress that you could just pull out and nobody knows what era it was in or anything like that. I just love classic styles. I didn't like the color. I felt like I don't know what the theme was, but I felt like Simone was on theme because I felt like the theme was Easter. Like, even Andy had on like a pastel beige kind of Obama Easter suit. He was giving very, very much giving that. And then we get to Simone, who looked like all she needed was an Easter basket and some black patent leather Mary Janes. That dress was awful. The hairstyle was horrendous. It was just really, really bad. She looked like she was about 10 years old on Easter Sunday, waiting for Andy to give the benediction. It was a mess. So who else is after that? Toya. Toya was okay. Toya's dress was okay. It was like Anila's, a lot of tulle, but it wasn't it didn't look like short tulle, like you like have on like a tutu or something. That was just too much with that long train. It was like too much to gather. I don't want to be bothered with all that stuff. So she just looked okay. Who was that? Contessa, I didn't like Contessa's dress. It was giving me Grecian goddess, but I mean, it would have been pretty if that was the theme, because it was like almost like her dress looked like a sculpture. It was a nice dress, but I didn't like it for Contessa. But it was a nice dress. Who am I missing? Oh, and Quad looked nice. Her dress gave me like more of an enchanted forest type energy. Like, that's what she was giving me. Everybody else was Easter Sunday. I think that's it. For the women. They first get on Anila, the new girl. How did everybody take to the new girl? how did everybody take to fitting in? She tells us that her home sold, or not sold, but after everything was finished, her home cost $3 million. Has Toya been there? That was the shade. Oh, baby, when Anila gave the hashtags for the girls and she got to Toya and she said the U-Haul collection, somebody must have told her to say that. When I tell you, I hollered. I was not ready for the U-Haul. I was not ready for the U-Haul collection. I wasn't even ready for the hashtag to go across the screen. That was embarrassing. But so they asked Anila, has Toya been to her house? No. They get on her not paying for hair and makeup. We already talked about that. It's like, did you pay the people on time? I really don't think it was a question of did you pay them, right? Because she was like, I have receipts. And Toya was like, I have receipts too. And to me, I feel like if we're really friends, why are you so adamant on proving me wrong? And I don't understand the point of that. If the girl paid, she paid. Did she pay on time is the real question, right? I feel like there should be no email or text message asking for payment. I shouldn't have to ask you for money for services that I have given you and have already left you. Before the makeup artist leaves, please pay them. Before you leave the hairdresser, when you get your hair done, do you pay when you're down the street? Do you pay the next day? No, you pay right then and there. You pay for your hair for services you got. So I think the real question should have been, did you pay on time? Not, bitch, did you pay? Did you pay on time? Right? Because your credit score will go down if you didn't pay on time. So we worried about you paying on time, bitch. That's what we worried about. Okay, Anila. Then Anila said that Toya hasn't given, she said, since you want to bust me out, girl, you haven't, the person that you begging for me to pay, you haven't given them a raise in 8 years. They've been working for you doing your makeup for 8 years and you haven't paid. You haven't gave them a raise. That's what she said. You haven't given them a raise. Was she a puppet? Heavenly was like, she was a Muppet. You know, they were playing the video of that. And I really believe that Toya thought that Anila was going to be her flunky and she was going to be able to run her, because she can't run these doctors, but she can run a non-doctor, or feel like she could. And the way that she was talking to Anila was out of order. Bitch, she's not your Muppet or puppet. Whatever. They were talking about how Toya talks down to everyone. She's been talking down to everyone. She talks down to her friends in the community, not the friends on the show. So Toya has, I guess, a problem with talking down to people. And I feel like people who talk down to people make it's an effort to feel important, because you're not feeling powerful in other aspects of your life. So you talk down to people because that kind of lifts you up. It's sad, but that's the behavior. It's like, I feel more power when I'm taking power from someone else by talking down to them. Can you acknowledge? I can acknowledge that I was aggressive. Did she apologize? I think she apologized like towards the end. They really had to beat her over the head to get her to acknowledge and to apologize. And then she started getting emotional, which I'm like, girl, it is so Aries. It is really Aries. I'm an Aries moon, so if you could take offense all you want to. I'm an Aries moon, so I can talk shit about Aries, okay? So, baby of the zodiac, wham, 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 aggressive, 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 me, but I can fight, right? Fight. You're going to put up a fight, but then the childish part comes out where you can't really apologize for what you did. To me, I feel like when Jackie stepped in and was like, you know, it's really the accountability part. And to me, I feel like it works better when you can be self-accountable rather than another adult, telling a 40-plus-year-old woman, hey, the way that you were acting was kind of fucked up. You weren't operating from your best self this season. She starts crying. I don't know what she's crying for, because it didn't take her much for the tears to dry up, because she started getting her fly again. And it's just like typical feel sorry for me. This is what I was going through. Oh my God. But I can bite just as hard. I can bite just as hard. Anila said that the kids love Toya, and it would be great for them to kind of work on their relationship. It was weird because she was like, girl, we even have on the same dress. That's how you're connecting to her? Like, girl, I don't know. Toya is, to me, very shallow, very unaware, it's like this lack of awareness that I don't understand. It's like, it's a lack of awareness for me. It really is. It's like, okay, these people treated you like this, but you treated them like that as well. So when do you take accountability for your role in the play? When do you take accountability? Because whether or not someone treats you a certain way, how you respond, this is elementary. How you respond is what you are accountable for. Not what the other person did to you. Now, are you responding based on what they did to you? Yes, but you're still accountable for how you responded. If you're telling me the only reason why you did something to me is because I did something to you, that means I have some level of control over you to make you react in a way that you feel like you don't have control over yourself, and to the point where you can't take accountability for how you responded. Give each other a kiss. The getting up and going and walking to give hugs and kisses is late, is tired, is weak, is fake. I'm not getting up in my gown to go give you a fake hug because we know today that you're not friends, that you're not friendly with each other, that y'all not cool. So I'm not about to get up and change the way I'm sitting down. I'm sitting to come and give you a fake ass hug. The kiss between Heavenly and Toya, the hug between Toya and Anila, get it out of here. Y'all could have kept that out. Anyways, Miss Quad to the stage. They talked about the text with her and Heavenly, and not the text, but the post on Instagram. Quad went to, we already talked about that. Quad, it was too much. It wasn't balanced to what, like, you went that hard over an emoji that was like, oh girl, that's what you went hard on, but whatever. She talked about her house. It was a really big house. I loved Quad's apartment, townhome, whatever the hell you want to call it. 3 levels, an elevator and stuff like that. To me, I felt like, as a single professional woman, like, that house was perfect. She bought this huge house. She probably didn't pay a lot because properties in Atlanta, it looks, huge. It looks big. Like Toya, like, this is what's crazy to me. And maybe because California real estate is just completely different from Atlanta real estate. Yes, you don't get as much, and nor does it cost as much. It looks like it costs a lot, but it doesn't cost a lot. Anila's home in California would be at least $7 million. $3 million is but $7 million. Yeah, it would have been at least $7 million, right? Toya's house, you selling your, we're gonna get to Toya. She got a mansion on her. She's bragging about her mansion. Girl, that's too much. And the upkeep for a single woman, now you gotta pay somebody to come do landscaping every week. You outside pruning rose bush. No. No, I could see, like, to me, I felt like, I don't know what the backyard space looked like in her townhome, but I can't imagine it being too small. The townhouse was huge. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. She said, Heavenly says she understands Quad. Simone tells Quad that she holds grudges. Quad says, you're not going to put that toe tag on me. Jackie was laughing at her like, girl. I love when Quad felt like she was about to control the the questions, and Andy was like, no, we're not about to, because she was like, yeah, let's get into friendships and da da da, and Andy was like, no, we're not. you're not running shit over here, Quad. That's the sister circle that you was doing all that talking. When she did that impersonation of Heavenly, she did a good job. I was like, she sounds just like Heavenly. She says that she's dating. She has several men, several people on her team and in her squad, and one is a doctor, and he's fine as hell, and all this other stuff, honey. Contessa got her a fine ass doctor. See how they act. I mean, you know, beauty is subjective, okay? All right. They make a little joke about Bill Gates. You don't want to be, okay, girl. Toya, Aries, her behavior. Heavenly is a bulldog. She needs her friends to lift her up. Yeah, I think everybody needs friends to lift them up. But are you lifting your own self up by pushing down your friends? And if you really want to ask yourself, are these women really your friends? Is Toya really friends with Jackie? No. I don't think Jackie respects Toya in the least. I think Jackie looks at Toya and Mariah through the same eyes, like judgy eyes, judgy, I'm better than, I can't even get with you, you doing the most. I think there's a lack of respect that Toya experiences in this friend group. However, I don't think she helps either. Like, it's like when you're talking shit about people's homes, you're talking shit about, things like that. It's like, girl, you talk cash money shit about people, but can nobody say nothing to you? No, and I don't think anybody really said anything to Toya, but about her. What did they say? I'm trying to think. Anyways, I don't give a. Let me shut up. Okay. Do you have any regrets? Again, she starts getting emotional. Simone asks her, what are some of the specific things that you felt like you were out of order with? And she starts talking about being depressed, or Eugene was depressed or experiencing depression, with the, being an ER doctor during COVID and things like that. And for some reason, even though we saw clips of her kind of telling him to slow down and when was he going to be able to be home, like, it's weird to ask an ER doctor in a pandemic when they're going to be home. Like, I don't know, like, that's the job. Like, what are your expectations? Like, it just feels like Toya is just selfish to me. It's a lot of self-absorbedness. Is that a word? I feel like that with Toya. It's like me. It's so Aries. It's just like me. Me. I'm the one going through all of this. I was so afraid at night when my husband would cough, I would think that he had COVID. Now, is that an excuse for your behavior? Is it an excuse, right? Could it speak to your behavior? Yes, it could definitely speak to the way that you were behaving last season. But does it give you the right and the space to treat people like shit because you feel like your husband might have COVID because he's an ER doctor and you want him to be home more and he was dealing with depression? It's the same thing. I think for anything, when anybody's going through anything, it doesn't matter if it's a pandemic, it doesn't matter. What you are going through does not give you the space to treat people like shit. Never. And it's no excuse. It's not cool. People do it all the time. And it's just not cool. It's just not cool. Everyone is going through some shit. You going through some shit. That's when Contessa gets her voice raised. Everybody here is going through some shit. But did we treat you like shit? Did we treat each other like shit because we were going through some shit? It's like, I don't know. Maybe you need to work on how to manage your emotions when you're going through shit so that you don't affect the people around you who would probably prefer to support you rather than be in conflict with you. But your behavior is so childish, juvenile, infantile and self-absorbed that no one wants to support and uplift you because you're punching them down in the process. So maybe that's something Toya can work on. It's like, how do I deal with the stressors of my life without punching down to my friend group, or talking down to my friend group, or being a bitch to my friend group? Because I think that those people would rather support you than be in conflict with you. And that's just how I feel about that. Toya said something that stood out to me. And as an excuse, she says, when I attack them, they attack me back. Well, bitch, no shit. No shit. What do you expect for someone to do back to you when you're attacking them? Right? They are going to talk shit back to you. You don't get to talk shit to people and to say things to people and them not say nothing to you, back to you. You want them to be like, okay, Toya, I'm just supposed to let you talk to me crazy? Like, you really expected Anila to allow you to talk down to her, tell her to shut up? Like, girl, come on. Like, really? So when I attack them, they attack me back. So they're not supposed to? She said they called me stupid. The other one called me a prostitute. And I was like, when did they call her a prostitute? But Heavenly said that when sex is over, Contessa will probably have conversation, and Toya will probably just pick her money up off and leave. Like, so that's what she was talking about. Heavenly was like, girl, just own your shit. That's the problem. I think that's the problem what people have with adults. It's like, nobody should have to beat you in the head. Like I said earlier, I believe that being self-accountable, and like that, I think that's something that we have to work towards on being better versions of ourselves, is being able to reflect. That's part of being better. That's why Black men have such a problem progressing in society, because there's no self-reflection. There's no like, what could I have done differently? What could I have done to make this experience different for the both of us, right? What is a lot of self-reflection. I think as we get older and we learn that, to me, I feel like that's better than somebody having to pull your teeth to get you to acknowledge your behavior, right? That's like even little kids. You don't really have to do that with little kids. They'll just tell you the truth of how they feel. I don't feel bad for what I did. I don't want to apologize. They will tell you, right? I don't believe in making kids apologize. I believe you should apologize when you feel like you've done something wrong. However, you may not feel like you've done something wrong to somebody, and when somebody is telling you, just what Simone said, when I tell you something is wrong, I don't give a fuck what you think, how I feel. I'm telling you how I feel, so you do not get to tell me that my feelings are invalid. Period. However, you don't get to treat people like shit when you're feeling bad. That's my thing. And I feel like when you self-reflect, when you get to a space where you learn how to stand outside of yourself and say, you know what, I could have approached this differently. I should not have talked it down to you, Anila. She finally said that she would apologize, but it was like everybody had to chime in. And I feel like that is an inauthentic way for somebody to come to the realization. I think it's better for you to come to the realization than for somebody else to have to point it out to you all of the time. But sometimes people have to point it out to you. Accountability looks like I was wrong. I was wrong. That's what Jackie said accountability looks like. That's what it looks like to me. I was wrong. I could have done something better, something different. I apologize for the way that our experiences together. I apologize for how I showed up, and I should not have done. Like, I don't understand why a lot of people, it's hard for a lot of people to apologize, because if I hurt you, no, it's not if you did. If means that you may or may not have. I'm telling you, you did. So there's not because Jackie had a lot of nerve, bitch. It took them to pull teeth from you to apologize to Buffy. Remember? And that's all I gotta say about it. You didn't want to apologize, right? You didn't want to take accountability. It took you to come to the reunion for everybody to be like, Girl, that was not cool for you to be saying that that lady had a miscarriage in front of everybody, or can't, or is infertile. That's what she said. You're infertile, right, Buffy? What she tell her? I was like, oh my god, it was the gasp across the room for me. It's Toya's house. People are making $1 million selling their houses in her neighborhood. I feel like that is a crock of shit. I feel like saying that I got $1 million in equity in a year and that's going to make me sell my house instead of sitting on it for another year and possibly making another $1 million. I feel like it's thirsty and it's broke bitch behavior. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you to have wrote scriptures on the beams that hold your house up, to turn around in a year and say, I want to sell my house because I'm going to get $1 million in equity. $1 million.
$40.
To me, I feel like you and Eugene combined make $1 million a year. So why wouldn't you stay in that house longer? Where are you going? It's just a house. Is it just a house? With Luke 3:14, I don't know what Luke 3:14 is. I don't know what other scriptures you done wrote on your house, your children's initials on the house, and now we got to get up and move. I thought this was your forever home. I thought this was the home that you were going to raise your children in, and then when they go off to college and come home, they can come home to their mama's house. When they go off to college and bring their first girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever the hell they want to date, and they bring them home, they coming back to that house. Where are they going now? Where are they going? It's suspect to me. It sounds like some not a money grab, but like you thirsty for some money. Maybe it's $1 million that you guys have in debt and you figure that you can pay. I just don't get it. I don't understand the rationale by saying, oh, I got $1 million in equity. So why wouldn't you, that to me, I feel like, why wouldn't you sit on that? Like, if the houses are appreciating, why wouldn't you want $1.5 million, or why wouldn't you want $2 million? I just feel like it's some broke bitch shit. Sorry. I wouldn't sell a house for $1 million in equity. Just $1 million? Girl, it doesn't make sense. So I would have asked her, so did you guys sell? Are you guys looking to make $1 million? Is that what the projected return on your investment is $1 million? Because why are you selling your house? Because at the end of the episode, Eugene didn't want to talk about it. Anyways, oh, Toya Kiss Heavenly. That was fake. Contessa. They get on Contessa. What stood out to me, what Scott said, and I have been saying this for the past couple of years, and really more recently, that there is a programming, a socialization, right, of how men are to behave when it's time to relate to women in relationships. Scott says men aren't programmed. A doctor says that men aren't programmed to talk about what's wrong. So you are saying that you have allowed yourself to be programmed to fall right into your socialization of an ineffective communicator. Is that what you're telling me, Dr. Scott Metcalf? That's what you're telling me, is that you have allowed yourself to be programmed to not talk about what's wrong, and you've leaned into that socialization and are using it as an excuse to be an ineffective communicator in your marriage. That's smart. Do you think Scott is cheating? Scott is having inappropriate conversations with women because Scott wants to feel at 50 years old, because the tip is getting soft and the hairline is receding. He wants to feel like he still got it. And so he's talking to other women to stroke his ego. Do you think Scott is cheating? Today, no. In the past, inappropriate. How to respect and receive. Right. You're showing your kids. What are you showing your kids? What do I always say? All you're doing is showing your sons and your daughter how relationships are supposed to go. Where do we learn relationships from? From our home. That's the first place we learn how men and women, or how people relate to each other in conflict, in love, in every aspect of humanness. You learn it from your caregivers and your parents and your guardians, right? No matter where you are, that's where you learn from. So what are you doing by staying with a person who doesn't respect you? You are showing that that is a normal way of a man. And well, my dad and my mom, that's how they operated, so I figure it's right, because I haven't seen anything different yet, right? It's when you grow up and you start seeing like what my mom and dad was doing in the house, that shit was not normal, but you thought it was normal because you didn't have anything to compare it to. So you think, okay, this is how a man is supposed to treat a woman. So what you're doing is setting up your children to have relationships like that, unless they unlearn it, but that's what you're setting them up for. Does Scott want to work on the marriage? I think Scott is complacent. I think he's okay. I think he's okay with giving the excuse that men are programmed to not talk about what's wrong. He's okay with that because that's the excuse. How many times have I told you that the excuses for human males in this society is built into their existence? From the very beginning, you are told boys who are taught to be leaders, right, that you're the leader just simply because you have a penis, but boys develop slower than girls. But the boys are raised to believe that by default, by penile default, that they're the leaders. But I thought you guys develop slower than women, slower than girls that are growing into women. How is that possible? If you're developing slower, how do you be socialized to believe that you should lead simply because you have a dick? How? So like I said, excuse is built into their existence. And you're not going to tell me that. They've been programmed and socialized to believe simply because you are born male, that you're supposed to be a leader. And everything else, when you hear the excuse, boys will be boys, you never hear the excuse, girls will be girls. You never hear the excuse, women will be women. You always hear the excuse, boys will be boys and men will be men, accompanied with bad behavior. So the excuse is built into their existence. Kids should see their father respecting their mother. I'm so tired. I used to be the one to be like, at least some men don't make good partners, but they make good fathers. But you can make a good father and be treating your partner like shit, and at the same time teaching your children that this is how you treat women. So are you really a good father if you cannot treat your partner with love, respect, and honor them? Could you? Okay. Giving him a pass. Should I be mad all the time? Should I be throwing my shoes all the time? No, bitch, you don't have to be mad all the time, but you could set some clear boundaries, real clear lines in the sand, because it's not okay to just have your head in the sand, Contessa. You are too smart and too ambitious to allow yourself to be in a marriage where you have to stick your head in the sand because he has to be happy, and he is okay with not talking about it. He is okay. He feels like we are adult enough. This is a doctor. I feel like we're adults enough that we don't need therapy. So you're saying that therapy is only for children. This is a doctor talking. Have you guys talked about divorce? This was a scheme that Contessa and Quad set up to bring us the bullshit, because there's no way that Contessa had to throw it to Quad for Quad to affirm that Contessa filed for separation. Girl, you couldn't do that yourself? Well, they're all my friends. They're all my friends. They're all my friends. They could tell you. They can answer the question. Why you don't answer the question? That's the problem now. Why you don't answer the question? Because you want to put it on somebody else, because you don't want Scott to be mad at you. It's crazy. You don't want your husband to be mad at you for filing for separation because you don't like the way that he's behaving in the relationship. So where are the boundaries? Where are the guidelines for how you are supposed to be treated in your relationship? Because why are you always placating to how he needs to feel? That's abusive to me. If you cannot operate from your full self in your relationship because you are afraid of making someone upset, That is not the kind of relationship it's unhealthy and it needs to be fixed. And if you can't fix it, get out of it. We've been married 20 years. What'd she say, 20 something years? Yes. What does that mean? How much time do you have to invest in a relationship when you're not seeing a return on the investment? How long? Because it doesn't matter how long you put in. Are you seeing a return on your investment? Okay. Dump it. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.